The year 2025 has witnessed a resurgence of protectionist trade policies, spearheaded by the United States under the administration of Donald Trump. This shift marks a significant departure from the globalist trade policies that have dominated the past few decades. The Trump administration's approach is characterized by a focus on national interests, aiming to bolster domestic industries and reduce reliance on foreign imports. This new era of trade protectionism is not just a political maneuver, but a fundamental change in how the U.S. engages with the global economy. The decision to impose tariffs on goods from key trading partners, including Mexico, Canada, and China, has sent shockwaves through the global economy. These tariffs, which are essentially taxes on imported goods, have led to immediate and far-reaching consequences. Stock markets have reacted with volatility, reflecting the uncertainty and potential risks associated with these policies. The tariffs have also prompted retaliatory measures from affected countries, further complicating international trade relations. This essay will delve into the rationale behind Trump's tariff strategy, its impact on the U.S. economy, and the broader global implications. By examining the economic theories and political motivations that underpin these policies, we can gain a deeper understanding of their potential benefits and drawbacks. The analysis will also consider the responses from other nations and international organizations, highlighting the complex interplay between domestic policy and global trade dynamics. The tariffs, essentially taxes levied on imported goods, have been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, they are seen as a necessary measure to protect American industries from unfair competition and to address trade imbalances. On the other hand, critics argue that these tariffs will lead to higher prices for consumers and disrupt supply chains, ultimately harming the very industries they are meant to protect. The mixed reactions reflect the complexity of the issue and the diverse perspectives of different stakeholders. Proponents argue that they are necessary to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. They believe that by imposing tariffs, the U.S. can encourage domestic production and create a more level playing field for American workers. This perspective is particularly popular among manufacturing sectors and labor unions, who see tariffs as a way to revive industries that have been in decline due to globalization. Supporters also point to the potential for increased government revenue from tariff collections, which can be used to fund public services and infrastructure projects. Critics, however, contend that they will ultimately harm American consumers and businesses while escalating trade tensions with key allies. They argue that tariffs lead to higher prices for imported goods, which can increase the cost of living for everyday Americans. Additionally, businesses that rely on imported materials may face higher production costs, leading to reduced competitiveness and potential job losses. The diplomatic fallout from these policies can also strain relationships with important trading partners, making it more difficult to negotiate future trade agreements. The impact of these tariffs is far-reaching, affecting everything from the price of avocados to the global balance of power. For example, consumers may notice higher prices for everyday items like groceries and electronics, as the cost of imported goods rises. On a larger scale, the tariffs can shift trade routes and alter the dynamics of international trade as countries seek new markets and alliances. The geopolitical implications are significant, as trade policies can influence diplomatic relations and global power structures. Understanding the motivations behind these policies, their potential benefits, and their inherent risks is crucial for navigating the turbulent waters of international trade in the 21st century. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, the actions of one country can have ripple effects across the globe. By examining the economic, political, and social dimensions of trade protectionism, we can better prepare for the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. This comprehensive analysis will provide valuable insights for policymakers, businesses, and consumers alike, helping them make informed decisions in an ever-changing global landscape. The Trump administration has invoked a range of legal justifications for its imposition of tariffs. These tariffs, which have sparked significant debate both domestically and internationally, are part of a broader strategy aimed at addressing what the administration perceives as unfair trade practices and threats to national security. These justifications include Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which allows for tariffs on national security grounds. This act, originally intended to protect the United States from economic threats during the Cold War, has been repurposed to address modern concerns about economic dependency on foreign nations. particularly in critical industries such as steel and aluminum. Another key piece of legislation is Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, which permits action against unfair trade practices. This section has been used to target countries that engage in practices such as intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and other forms of economic coercion that disadvantage American businesses and workers. The administration has also utilized the Tariff Act of 1930, also known as the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, which grants the president broad authority to impose retaliatory tariffs. This act, originally designed to protect American farmers and manufacturers during the Great Depression, has been invoked to address contemporary trade imbalances and protect domestic industries from foreign competition. In some instances, Trump has bypassed congressional approval by declaring national emergencies, further fueling debate about the legal and constitutional limits of his actions. These declarations have allowed the administration to take swift and unilateral action in response to perceived threats, but they have also raised questions about the appropriate balance of power between the executive and legislative branches of government. These legal maneuvers have drawn criticism from those who argue that they undermine the rule of law and set a dangerous precedent for future trade disputes. Critics contend that the broad and flexible interpretation of these laws could lead to their misuse, potentially harming the global trading system and eroding trust among international partners. The use of national security as a justification for tariffs in particular has raised concerns about the potential for abuse and the erosion of the rules-based trading system. By framing economic issues as national security threats, the administration has opened the door to a more protectionist and unilateral approach to trade policy, which could have long-term implications for international economic relations and the stability of the global market. Central to the Trump administration's rationale for imposing tariffs is the goal of addressing the persistent U.S. trade deficit. In 2024, the U.S. trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, with China accounting for $295.4 billion of that figure. The administration argues that tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from what it perceives as unfair competition from countries like China, which it accuses of currency manipulation and intellectual property theft. By making imported goods more expensive, the administration aims to encourage consumers to buy American-made products, thereby boosting domestic production and reducing dependence on foreign goods. Furthermore, the administration views tariffs as a source of revenue for the government. By taxing imports, the government can generate additional funds that can be used to reduce the budget deficit or fund other priorities, such as infrastructure. Section 4. Impact on U.S. businesses. Navigating the tariff landscape. The imposition of tariffs has had a significant impact on U.S. businesses, particularly those that rely on imported goods or export their products to countries targeted by the tariffs. These tariffs, often implemented as a means to protect domestic industries, can have a ripple effect across various sectors of the economy. For instance, businesses that depend on raw materials or components from abroad may find themselves grappling with increased costs, which can disrupt their entire supply chain. Many businesses have seen their costs rise as a result of the tariffs, forcing them to raise prices, absorb the costs, or find alternative suppliers. This can be particularly challenging for small and medium-sized enterprises that may not have the financial resilience to absorb these additional costs. Consequently, consumers may also feel the pinch as higher production costs are often passed down the line, leading to increased prices for everyday goods. For example, the 25% tariff on goods from Mexico has impacted the agricultural sector, with avocado prices increasing due to the reliance on Mexican imports. This has not only affected consumers who enjoy this popular fruit, but also farmers and retailers who must navigate the complexities of fluctuating prices and supply chain disruptions. The agricultural sector in particular is highly sensitive to such changes, as it often operates on thin margins and relies heavily on predictable trade relationships. The automotive industry, which sources approximately 18% of its parts from Mexico, has also been affected with potential price increases for cars. This industry is a cornerstone of the U.S. economy, providing jobs to millions and contributing significantly to GDP. Tariffs on automotive parts can lead to higher production costs, which may result in increased prices for consumers and potentially lower sales volumes. This, in turn, can have a cascading effect on related industries, such as steel, rubber, and electronics, which supply essential components for vehicle manufacturing. The tariffs have also created uncertainty for businesses, making it difficult to plan for the future. This uncertainty can stifle innovation and investment, as companies may be hesitant to commit resources to new projects or expansion plans without a clear understanding of future trade policies. The unpredictability of tariff impositions and trade negotiations can lead to a cautious approach, where businesses prioritize short-term survival over long-term growth. The ongoing trade disputes and the threat of further tariffs have made it challenging for businesses to make investment decisions and manage their supply chains effectively. Companies must constantly adapt to changing regulations and market conditions, which can be both time-consuming and costly. In some cases, businesses may need to reconfigure their supply chains entirely, seeking out new suppliers or even relocating production facilities to mitigate the impact of tariffs. This dynamic environment requires agility and strategic foresight, as businesses strive to remain competitive in a global market that is increasingly influenced by geopolitical factors. Section 5. Consumers in the crosshairs: rising prices and shifting choices. American consumers have also felt the impact of the tariffs, as businesses have passed on the increased cost to them in the form of higher prices for everyday items. The tariffs have affected a wide range of consumer goods, from electronics and appliances to clothing and food products. For instance, the 10% tariff on Chinese goods has resulted in higher prices for electronics, as China is a major supplier of these essential products. The tariffs on steel and aluminum have also contributed to higher prices for automobiles, appliances, and other manufactured goods. These price increases have put a strain on household budgets, particularly for low and middle-income families who spend a larger proportion of their income on essential consumer goods. The tariffs have also limited consumer choice, as some imported goods have become less available or more expensive.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.